Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to tackle a skill that is absolutely fundamental for every single auditor, how to effectively identify and assess risks when you're planning an audit. Honestly, this is the skill that can make or break an audit, so let's jump right in. Welcome to the Audit Guidebook. This is your go-to spot where we take really complex audit topics and we break them down into clear, practical explainers that you can actually use to move your career forward. And you know, we've designed this specifically for you. So whether you're a student just getting your head around the basics, a new audit professional in your first couple of years, or maybe you're a seasoned pro who just wants a quick, solid refresher, you are in the right place. So here's our game plan for today. First up, we'll talk about the core challenge every auditor faces. Then, I'm going to give you a really powerful 6-step framework to handle it. After that, we'll see how that framework connects directly to your audit plan, and finally, we'll talk about how you can use all of this to advance in your career.
Okay, let's start with that big challenge, the one that hits you right at the beginning of any engagement. Picture this.
The audit kicks off. You walk in and you're faced with this huge, complex organization, thousands of transactions, and the clock is ticking. The big question is, where do you even start? Where do you focus your attention? Because you can't look at everything, so how do you choose?
Well, the answer, the secret sauce really, is risk assessment. At its heart, it's just the process of figuring out what could go wrong, and then evaluating how likely it is to happen and how bad it would be if it did. Think of it like a roadmap that tells you exactly where the most important areas are.
So, how do we actually do it? Let's walk through a super practical 6-step framework that takes this idea of risk assessment from theory and turns it into a clear, actionable process you can follow every time.
Okay, here they are, the 6 steps we're going to dive into. It starts with understanding the business and goes all the way through to documenting your findings. This sequence right here is your key to building a rock-solid audit plan. So let's break each one down.
Step 1 is all about getting the context. I mean, before you can even think about finding risks, you have to deeply understand the company. What are their goals? What industry are they in? What are the rules they have to follow? Because without this context, you're just auditing blind. Let's make this real with an example we'll follow. Let's talk about ABC Microfinance Bank. Their whole business is offering digital loans through a mobile app. So right away, what does that tell you? Where do you think the big risks are heading? Exactly. It points you straight towards things like IT security, data privacy, and the whole loan approval process. All right, once you have that big picture view, it's time to zoom in. You need to break the company down into its core processes. You know, the day-to-day activities like sales, payroll, or for our bank, the entire life cycle of a loan. This is where the risks really live. So for ABC Microfinance Bank, we can pretty quickly identify 4 key processes, right? First, there's the loan application, then the approval, then how the money actually gets sent out, the disbursement, and finally, how they get it back, the recovery process. Hence now for the fun part, the creative part. For each of those processes we just listed, you put on your detective hat and you brainstorm what could go wrong here. You're thinking about fraud, you're thinking about simple mistakes, system glitches, or breaking the rules. You are actively trying to predict problems. Back at ABC Bank, these potential risks start to jump out at you. For instance, could a staff member approve a fake loan for a friend? Totally. Could their mobile app get hacked, leading to a massive data breach? Absolutely. Are they maybe not following all the complex central bank lending rules? It's definitely possible. These are all serious, plausible risks. Okay, so now you've got this long list of potential problems. You can't tackle everything with the same intensity, right? So you've got to prioritize. And you do that by looking at each risk through 2 lenses. First, what's the likelihood it will happen? And second, what's the impact if it does? And this is where a tool like a risk matrix is just brilliant. As you can see here, we're mapping it out. For fraudulent loan approvals, we said it has a high likelihood and a high impact. Well, that gives it an overall high rating. That one? That goes straight to the top of our list. A data breach might be less likely, so medium likelihood, but the impact is still high. This simple table immediately gives you a crystal clear view of where you need to focus. So we know what the big, scary risks are. The next logical question is, well, what is the company already doing about them? Step 5 is all about finding the company's existing controls and figuring out if they're actually working to lower those risks. So let's say ABC Bank tells you they have a control. Any loan over 500,000 shillings needs 2 different people to approve it. Sounds good, right? But as an auditor, you test that.
And what if you find out that in reality, one officer is just approving these large loans all by themselves? Boom! That's a massive control failure. The risk in that area just skyrocketed.
And the last step, you document everything. And look, I know this can sound like boring paperwork, but it's not. This assessment becomes the official blueprint for your entire audit. It's what justifies the tests you're going to do, the people you need on your team, and the time you're going to spend.
All right, so let's tie this all together. How does all this hard work we just did translate into a smart, efficient audit plan? This quote really says it all. Your risk assessment isn't just some preliminary exercise you do and then forget about. No, it becomes the very foundation, the DNA of your entire audit plan. It tells you what to test, when to test it, and how much testing you need to do.
It's a really simple, beautiful logic to it. First, you identify the risks. That points you to the controls you need to assess, and all of that together leads you directly to a laser-focused audit plan. This process ensures you're always working on what matters most.
Okay, let's bring it home and talk about your next steps. Because look, understanding this stuff is great, but the real value, the real magic happens when you start putting it into practice.
So if you take one thing away from this explainer today, let it be this. The ability to identify and assess risks is your superpower as an auditor. It is how you take a big, messy, complex organization and turn it into a clear, confident, actionable plan. It's the core of what we do. Here, we believe that to really own a skill, you first have to learn it, then you have to apply it, and then you use it to advance. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here at the Audit Guidebook. If this was helpful for you, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button for more expert explainers just like this one. And don't stop here. Keep the momentum going and check out the other videos in our audit planning series. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.